Mm-mm. That was good to the last drop. Wow, I am in tennis heaven right now watching Rafael Nadal and Diego Schwartzman. I mean, you talk about some tennis, you talk about some heart, both sides of the net, just battling every single point. You know, Rafa's bringing it. Hello, Jennifer. Nice to have you up. Was that not fantastic? You know, that was a great match, right? You know, Rafa's bringing it. But Diego Schwartzman, amazing, amazing tennis. I was so impressed with this guy. Again, I have to say, I have not. I feel bad. I haven't watched a ton of Diego. I know he's a good player. I've seen him play some matches, but man, did that kid impress me tonight. And hang with Rafa has it's got to be hang with Rafa for that long is like winning a lifetime achievement award or something. It's like you're playing your best possible tennis you could ever play, and it's still not good enough. I live in Melbourne. Diego played so many backhands. That's one thing I wanted to talk about. Diego is a small guy. They say he's 5'7". He doesn't look 5'7" on when you're watching him on the screen. He looks smaller now. He looks like 5'5", 5'6". And so Rafa has this monstrous topspin forehand that goes way high on people's backhands. Diego was clubbing the ball. Have you ever seen somebody do it so well to where they do that super jump? He's got like this super jump backhand that he was crushing back. And then they were saying, this guy, again, good things come in small packages. They were saying that last year when Federer won the Australian Open against Rafa, and Federer was a little bit more offensive, he was hitting his forehand at 77 miles an hour on average. Diego is hitting his forehand tonight on average, especially I think it was that second set, but they said he kept maintaining the speed 81 miles an hour on his forehand. So that guy could pound the ball. You would think he's just like a retriever when you look at his frame, but the guy was bringing it to Rafa. He was bringing the heat, and Rafa was taking the heat back, and then Rafa was giving the heat to him. And so just an amazing offense defense match. They both had so many chances too. That's what's really tough for both players is at one point, and I don't even know how many break points he must have ended up with, but at one point, I know Diego in the fourth set was 3 for 13 on break points. Rafa on fire. Rafa was very mentally tough to save so many break points. That's the thing too. Rafa is, you know, if Federer's playing a match like this, maybe you're worried about Federer because like, oh, he's off his game. He had his chances. He didn't convert. But when this is just how Rafa plays, guys. I mean, of course, Rafa can blow people off the net, off the court. He can be in the zone. But this is like even tougher Rafa because what Rafa is so good at and what we need to appreciate more is Rafa is so good at dealing with many heartbreaks in a match. Rafa had so many chances to break, to win, and there were so many heartbreaking things that happened to him. Remember that little net cord that just dribbled over the net? He was about to put the ball away, then dribbles over the net. I mean, think about if you're playing a match, how much that would drive you crazy. Rafa, what he said at the US Open, I thought was very interesting. He had another match where he played somebody at the US Open and he had 1,000,000 break points. And they said, what were you thinking, Rafa? And Rafa said he keeps telling himself to keep fighting and keep accepting. And he really lives that. That's such a good thing for all of us to kind of take to heart is when you're playing, when things go against you, it's so hard to accept it and keep fighting. You start to feel sorry for yourself. But Rafa just comes back and back and back. And most of the time, it's just a backbreaker for their opponents. But to Diego's credit, he kept coming back too. And so that's just back-to-back matches of incredible heart, display of awesome tennis. When I'm watching this match, I want to know what you guys think. I think it should be required viewing that everybody has to watch tennis around the world, at least for one day, a match like this, because how could you not be a tennis fan after today? How is tennis not the most popular sport in the world? Do you guys agree? I mean, let's go Roger. That's right. I love Roger too. But, you know, when you're watching a match like this, I'm thinking it's impossible not to love tennis. The drama, the shot making, the athleticism, the heart, the sportsmanship. There was one great point, and then Diego lobbed over Rafa's head, and Rafa said, good shot. And then, that's right, Liam agrees. And then after the match, here's something that's really cool, is after the match, Diego, by the way, grew up idolizing. He's young enough to where he can, that must be cool for both people on the court, where when he was growing up, Diego was growing up, he idolized Rafa. That was his idol. That was his man. That was the guy that he looked at and he's like, I want to be like him. And he got to play him and go toe to toe and battle and show heart. And what a moment for both people. When he came up to the net, I thought that was so cool that Rafa gives him a hug and like a pat on the head, like he's still a little boy, and kind of said, good on you. You really showed, you really proved yourself to me tonight. And I thought that was really, really awesome. I was just so proud of both players today, proud of our sport again. It was incredible. It's good to see so many of you guys out here too. Oh, here comes my girlfriend and with her girl. Okay, great. We're doing a live broadcast, and we got family coming in here at 3:30 in the morning. I'm sure they're feeling real good. So that's what happens when you go live at 3:30 in the morning. You never know what's going to happen on a Saturday night. I really appreciate all the likes that we're getting out there. Keep liking this video. It'll be interesting to see what Matt from Coffee Break Tennis thought. So going forward, when you're looking at Rafa tonight, what I want to ask, what kind of form is Rafa in? If Rafa gets to the finals against Roger Federer, who do you think is going to win that match based off of how Rafa is performing? Up until tonight, Rafa has been crushing his opponents. Tonight, he had a really tough match, but I think it showed how tough Rafa is right now. He is physically able to go point after point and play some really tough tennis. He's able to do, he's mentally tough. He's match tough, which is really cool. One thing that I thought was very interesting tonight is that they pointed out that Diego is the highest seeded player Rafa has played since playing Stan Wawrinka. So even though Rafa won the US Open, he didn't play anybody that was ranked higher than Diego Schwartzman. He played some tough competitors. He had to play Del Potro. So that's kind of like, misleading there. But still, Rafa hasn't had to play anybody in the top 10 in a major in a while. But I think he's looking good. Rafa's fit. Okay, so Liam says Rafa's fit, but his game is lacking. Roger could beat him in the final. I agree to some extent. One thing that was interesting to watch Rafa is I thought he had a lot of unforced errors, especially off the return. When he had a lot of chances to break, especially in that second set, he just missed a lot of returns that he normally doesn't miss. I do attribute that to Rafa trying to be a little more aggressive. If you notice, Rafa is standing closer into the baseline. I think number one, because Diego is a short guy. So he's thinking, I should move in and pressure Diego's second serve, which is a good play. And I think he's practicing for those moments when he has to play maybe a Roger in the final. And you can't just stay all the way back there at the stands like he likes to do sometimes. You have to get up there close. I think that's a good lesson for us too. You notice how much Rafa moves back and forth on that baseline, the return serve, and give a bunch of different looks to the opponent. I think that's an awesome thing that he does. Let's see. I actually want to see Djokovic, Rafa in the final, says Jennifer. That would be a good match too. I would like to see that. Those guys have had some classic battles, but I think pretty much most people out there. Well, Jennifer, you're somebody, so you want to see Djokovic, Rafa, and I respect that. But most people want to see a rematch of that classic we had last year. And I think Roger is in a little better form than Rafa right now. I do agree. But one thing that's so hard to do is to beat someone back to back. So for Roger to go and beat him last year and then come back this year, that's going to be a tough thing because that other player who lost wants the revenge. And so they're just a little extra hungry. for that. Kevin says, I can't wait for Roger and Novak. That is going to be classic too. We've got a lot of fantastic matchups. There's another great one coming right up. I was thinking, because I got to get up tomorrow and teach. It's 3:30 in the morning, East Coast time. But who's up next? Kyrgios versus Dimitrov. What is your take, guys, on Kyrgios versus Dimitrov? Who do you think is going to win that match? If you're watching this, guys, and coming in, we'd appreciate a thumbs up. We are Crunch Time Coaching. We do lots of tennis instruction. And of course, we got the fastest growing talk show on the internet right now with Coffee Break Tennis. If you love Matt Bradshaw from Coffee Break Tennis, also give this a thumbs up. Let's see. We got 23-15 head to head. That's true. But Roger's been winning a lot of those lately. Dimitrov in 5. Kyrgios in 5. Kevin says Dimitrov in 5. Liam says Kyrgios in 5. If we get a 5-setter, that would just be amazing. Kyrgios going to feed off the crowd. That's true. Kyrgios is kind of warming his way back into everybody's hearts, if you notice, which I'm kind of happy to see. You know, Kyrgios brought a lot of the negativity on himself, but he's slowly winning over the crowd. You notice that he's starting to fight. He's starting to really show his potential, and I'm very happy to see that, because we need people like Kyrgios, like him or hate him. We need people like Kyrgios in the game to keep the game interesting and fun. He's fun to watch play, and sometimes it's fun to see people go nuts. Let's face it, it's entertaining. Let's see, Pete, do you think is going to win? Who do I think? So who do I think is going to win the Australian Open? I'm still picking Federer to win, but it is going to be tough. There's so many people that can win it. Federer, I think, is in the best form, and he's shown lately that he can hit through Rafa. But Rafa looks tough, guys. He looks tough. And even though he made a lot of unforced errors tonight, and he was pushed to the limit tonight, I think it was a good test for Rafa. And I think Rafa showed what we all expect from him, that he fights every single point and he comes up with the goods. There is no player, and I love Roger, but there is no player in the history of tennis that responds better than being down a break point and stepping up and playing pure offense, clutch, just, ice in the veins tennis. Rafa is the king of that, guys. I mean, he is the king of that. Zverev yet to prove himself. That match yesterday was so disappointing. Yeah, I think there was two things I'm sure a lot of fans were disappointed to see. That Zverev lost, although that new kid Chung is really awesome. He's really good. I'm excited to see him. And Del Potro, he's another crowd favorite, and it would have made the tournament even better than it already is. But you know what? We can't be too greedy. I'm pretty satisfied with this Australian Open. I think it's a really awesome Australian Open so far. And I'm in tennis heaven right now. I just love watching I'm so proud of our sport. And I want Rafa to play like Federer. I want them both to play to like 50 years old. They just are so entertaining, so impressive. Such an honor to have them in our sport. We are in a very lucky time to have this going on right now. And it's really cool to see these young guys come up and play legends, and that these young guys literally idolize these guys growing up. What do I think of Federer's backhand at the moment, Liam says? Well, Federer, Matt from Coffee Break Tennis, who's the ultimate original Fed head, is saying that Roger is working his backhand into the tournament. He's starting to go down the line. He did a little more against Gasquet, and he's also starting to bark at himself a little more, saying, hey, I got to go for it. So I think ultimately it will be fine. Of course, no one's going to test that backhand more than Rafael Nadal. Also, Djokovic is pretty good at testing that backhand, but you got to watch out for that Djokovic serve and see if that can hold up under the Roger Federer pressure. Let's see, what else do I want to say here that I haven't already said? Diego, 3 for 13. Yeah, that's it, guys. I just thought it was an awesome match. I just wanted to come on and say hello. Forehand is massive, but understated. Whose forehand is massive? What do you think about Kyle Edmund? He's a big surprise pack. Yeah, he's an awesome player too. Here's my last thing I do want to say before I take off. I am still disappointed in ESPN's coverage of this tournament. I think Rafael Nadal and Diego were in a tiebreaker tonight, and they started to go to other matches that were in a tiebreaker. But everybody that they went to, they showed like the split screen, which I hate, especially when you're watching a very entertaining match. And the other courts, like Serena's court, said, "Yeah, we're in a tiebreaker, but it's nowhere near as good as tennis as you guys have." And then they went to another court, and Patrick McEnroe saying, "Yeah, this is a tough match, but we're not having the kind of quality of tennis you guys are having." Well, then don't go there. Just show us the best match that everybody wants to see. Rafael Nadal, one of the greatest players of all time, playing an amazing match, being tested every point in epic battle. Like, come on, just show us that. We don't want to see the other stuff. Another thing we don't want to see are thumbs down. Guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. We're out here working, and not really working because we just love tennis so much. We're hanging out together at 3:30 a.m. in the morning East Coast time, and that's it. I just wanted to come on, say, Rafa, you're awesome. I love you. I love tennis. I love all you guys who love tennis, and are out here watching it with me. So be ready tomorrow morning. Matt, by the way, I'll be surprised if Matt gets his coffee break tennis out tomorrow at 11 a.m. That's going to be pretty awesome because Matt, what he did today is he got a video out this morning. Then he went and played at a wine festival all day, and I think he crashed when he got home. So thank you, Kevin. Kevin says he appreciates it. And I got 2 more thumbs up. Thank you so much. We appreciate the thumbs up. If you've never seen our channel before, we'd love it if you would subscribe. So subscribe tonight too, and be looking for Matt's Coffee Break Tennis at 11. But if he doesn't get it out, give him a break because he's burned the candle at both ends right now. Can you please answer? What is the question, Truth? Truth, ask me the question one more time. I will look and see if I can try and find your comment, and then I'm probably going to go I'm trying to decide I'm going to watch that Curios. What do I think will happen if Rafa has to play 2 more 4 or 5 setters before the final? I think Rafa's proven that doesn't matter, and I don't think his age is a big deal either. I think Rafa can play 10 5-set matches in a row and always come back. I mean, he's done so many times where he's had years where like, oh, Rafa's just had an epic battle. How can he possibly come back in 2 days and play another match? He just does it. It's just what he does. He does it all the time. So that's it. What should I do, guys? Should I stay up and watch the Kyrgios match with Dimitrov, or should I go to bed and get ready to teach some tennis tomorrow morning? That's what I'm trying to think right now because I'm kind of amped. I kind of had a good time being on this broadcast with you, and I'm just pumped up about the tennis right now. Rafa has played better with more tennis fighter. He has amazing tournament. Yeah, well, he's playing amazing. Maybe he could get a little sharper. I agree, but I think the most important thing is a healthy Rafa, a fighting Rafa, and I think he's going to be fine. Absolutely staying up. Well, we'll see. I'm going to start the match, and I might fall asleep. We'll see how good the match is. You'll be dead tomorrow because it'll be a 5-setter. Yeah, that'd be cool. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Give this a thumbs up. Be looking out for more post-match with Pete's and Coffee Break Tennis with Matt. And also check out some of our Crunch Time coaching instruction videos in the description below. You can go to our site and you can get some free training. Thanks so much. Coffee Break Tennis is an ace. My favorite show on the internet, especially YouTube. So make sure you watch it. Take care.